stop using ShadCN defaults. Now, if you're using ShadCN to create dashboard applications or your web apps or your products, I am sure you're using ShadCN all the time. I use it, AI uses it. Prompts that you write, they almost always spit out ShadCN components because they use Radix or Base UI for accessibility and raw component. On top of that, if you need some styling, you use ShadCN. But there's a problem with it. Not with ShadCN, but the defaults, because everyone, almost 90% of the people are using ShadCN defaults, and it makes their websites look all the same. Now, that is a problem that we need to address, and I wanted to look at a few examples over here. For example, take a look at this dashboard. Now, this is a ShadCN dashboard. Plain gray, black tones. Now, I wanted to look at another example of this. I'll quickly paste this up. Let's see what we get. Now, what changed here? There are a few things that I want to talk about. This is a new dashboard. This is also ShadCN. This also uses the same tokens, except for a few things. That is what I want to talk about, and I can almost always drill it down into 3 steps. One is the border radius. Second is the color palette that you choose. Third is the typography, the font, the spacings into your application. These 3 things, if you tweak them, you can make your web application look unique and not ShadCN-ish by default. And that is what we are going to talk about in this video. It will be a very short video because I want to walk you through the tokens that we are actually going to use. This looks different. Although we've got a separate font over here, some mono font, we've got different colors, or we can also tweak the border radiuses. That is what I want to talk about in this video. And for that, I'll just reset it really quickly. All right, once I refresh, I have bare bones ShadCN structure right here with me. And I want to open the globals file, which is this one. Now, this is where all of your design tokens or your tokens live. That is where all the things come from. For example, font, headings, color rings, border colors, or, shadow. Shadow, I'm not sure if it is there, but it's fine. Ring colors, chart colors, everything stays here. And that is where you can tweak also. It uses OKLCH. You can use hex or RGB, whatever. But here, let's start with the border, and it comes with a radius feature. Now, this radius, wherever you see right here, now you can tweak the radius. This radius exactly, which you see. Now, this is the basic radius. It uses 0.625 rem. If you tweak it down to, let's say, 2, it'll give you a more sharper look. Or if you go well beyond 8, it'll give you a more rounded look. This is the sweet spot that you need to trigger. If you want to build a B2B application, I suggest doing 0, because that is what is going to give you a squarish look. Most B2B applications stick to this. But if you want to get more B2C or creative, you can go well above 6 or 7 maybe. It'll give you a more rounded and more playful look. That is how you can tweak it. I want to keep it 0 for this demo because I want to tweak the base colors and stuff for it. Now, this is of border radius. Similarly, you can tweak border color as well. Now, you've got dark, you've got theme inline, and you've got root. If you want to tweak the root and dark colors, it'll automatically apply to the theme inline because theme inline uses variable of hyphen border. If you want to change it to root, this is the roots border. Now, if I change to, for example, red, you'll see everything right here is red. Now, you can tweak it. I generally like to keep it simple. I like to keep it grayish, but I really like to play with the radius part of it, which I actually did, so that it doesn't look ShadCN-ish at all. Moving on, we have got primary colors as well. For example, if I change to red, everything changes to red. Now, I want to have a different color, and I'll go to a color palette, and this is what we have right over here. Now, I generally, for example, if you go to manuarora.in, I like this color and I like the gradient of it as well. Now I can give it a background color of linear gradient as well, but I'll keep it solid for now. And I'll maybe pick a different shade. Maybe I'll pick rose or pink, whichever works. Maybe I'll go with rose this time. And once you have this, it automatically changes the entire look of the website. That is why I like changing background colors and not just sticking to black. If you go to aceternity.com, I played with a lot of colors over here. It is not black and white at all. And I also given a palette wherein you can select the colors to change the theme of the website as well. This is a nice touch. I wanted to experiment with a lot of colors. That is why I did it. If you change colors and border radius, your almost always your website starts looking different because corners are adapted everywhere. For example, here, or even here, they are adopted everywhere. So your website starts to look a bit different. That is also a nice touch. Have different colors, have different gradients. Now you can go ahead and create a linear gradient for this as well. I can maybe change it to linear gradient. But if I want to change the gradient of this button color as well, I can almost always have a linear gradient going as well. That will give it a different look. Second point that I want to talk about is called typography or spacings. For example, if you see this font, this is Geest font. This font is Inter font. That is exactly what I want to talk about here is now Geest and Inter. Both fonts are heavily used by AI, by one who's building with ShadCN. If you have a different font for display, that'll play a huge role in changing the entire direction of your website. For example, if I go to Manu Arora.in and check the name of this font, I'll go to layout.tsx really quickly. I'll call it const. What is it called? All right, and I will pass this as a variable. It will call it keep it to the variable globals.css, and I'll go to root and I'll call it font, or I'll just call it display, and I'll have it here. Font display would be var font, whatever this font is. I'll go to dashboard or page. Inside of the dashboard, sidebar, site header. Site header is, I know what that even is. Not this one, section cards, and I go to card. I'll call it font display, and I'll see this computed card. Not here. I want to go to, for example, font display. The very first font, it is changed. So I go to this and I see computed grotesque font. All right, I don't want it here. I want it here, and I want it tracking tight. Let's see. I still Geest. Font heading don't want here. I want display. Now we have it. Now this font is changed. Now everywhere you are going to use ShadCN, I urge you to have headings of a different font, and the body font can be different. Body font can be maybe Inter or Geest, but the headings can be a different font so that it actually stands out a bit. For example, this is a different font, and I can maybe make it font bold. Is it not working because medium is there? It's not changing. Why is that? All right, now it is changing, but not changing by default. Maybe card title में उसमें दे रखा है. Okay, font semi-bold is here, and that is how helps establish a hierarchy inside of your web apps, and that is why it is important for you to change headings to a different font. Body font can be a different one. For example, every other thing is either Inter or Geest, and your headings like these or even these can be a different font. This can be a mono font, maybe. This can be a different font. You get the point. This is a dashboard application. There is not much you can do about it. But still, if you put in the time and effort into changing the headings into a different font and taking care of typography and white spaces, you'll be in a good position. Even the hover states you can tweak. For example, if I go to the sidebar, all right, where is dashboard? You've got sidebar inside. That is fine. This is the app sidebar. I want to see the icons. For example, this size 5, right? It is bold. Okay, stroke 1 pixel. Command icon. It is right to Acme INC. Not here. Now documents is what I want, I guess. Not this. So if I go to nav secondary, I want to see items, item.icon, and there they are passing item.icon. I can maybe call it a span in class name pgred 500. No, why is it not working? Is it mobile or was it a ढूंढना ही बड़ा मुश्किल है भाई. Okay, this is working. I'll take example of this. Okay, now main, bro. Quick create span icon. So here I want a span, maybe not size 5. All right, now I see that stroke 1 pixel ampersand. I forgot what it is called. All right, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to change the stroke width of it. Right now it is 1 pixel. Now it is 2 pixels. Now it is 3 pixel. Now I really dig 1.5 pixels of stroke for icons. It looks more leaner and more muted than the text. This is how you can also play with the entire stroke part of it. Now if I just copy this, go to documents, this is the item icon, and change it here. You see, it is the same which is replicated over here. If you add this little detail, maybe you can take this entire thing, call it some variable, let's say stroke width, and pass it directly into globals.css like width 1.5 pixel and pass it down. That is also going to work. But really what I want to communicate here is that you need to play with the strokes of your SVGs as well. That will make it different from what it actually is there. 1.5 is the sweet spot that I use, that has worked for me. Basically what I'm trying to do here is every descendant of this span element, which is going to be an icon, it will be an SVG. I want this class to be applied of 1.5 pixels of stroke, and I can maybe change the color of it as well. That is how you customize your own ShadCN application. You make it unique. Now lastly, I want to say there are 3 things that we have broadly covered. One is the border radius, or the border color in fact. Second is the font or the hierarchy, the typography, the visual balance inside of the web application. Third is playing with SVGs or icons, maybe tweaking their strokes, maybe changing their colors as well, or maybe using duotone icons. Duotone icons are nothing but icons which have got two shades of a single color, one with less opacity and one with full opacity. Those icons also stand out. That will be a good addition to your applications. Finally, what you can do is, lastly, you can play with the stroke also, or the box shadow of the cards as well. Now, if you see this card, I don't think it has a shadow. Now, if I go to dashboard, I'll go to card page. Where is card? Section cards. Card header. Is there a card foot? Okay, container card. There's a container query, BG red. So you see, this is the card. Now, if I go to this card, shadow Excel, not applied. Now it is applied. What I want to do here is, where is border? Am I passing border somewhere? Okay, I will remove this ring class. I want to customize it, and let us see where we are. Cool. Should not be a problem though. For now, I'll just... Does it have a border? I know what it has. Box shadow is not getting applied somehow. It is getting applied, and it is a card. Okay, shadow is getting applied. Now, if I get rid of it, I have nothing. That is exactly what I wanted, but I don't want these. Still getting applied. Black by 10, black by 50. Now, this is a custom box shadow. Now, this is not your regular borders. You can stack shadows on top of each other. This is a small example of how you can actually do it. But if I'll go to section cards and remove this from primary, this to card, this, and remove that gradient which was at the back, you get this nice and neat shadow that you can tweak. Now, shadow SM is a way to do it. There can be shadow XL as well, which will spread it out more, and I can get rid of the ring maybe. So you have more subtle shadows, but it elevates. Now, if I have this, I like this sweet spot because it gives you contrast as well. I want to keep it shadow SM. Now, this will give you borders, but those are not actually borders. Those are borders created with shadows and rings. That is what you can use also. It works really well on rounded corners, but it looks well on squarish as well. Everything is going to stand out. Everything is going to elevate, and you maybe can change the shadow color as well. Maybe 2, maybe 5. You get to tweak it. You get to make it on your own, and your entire application inherits it. That is the beauty of ShadCN, and that is why I love it. You get extremely good defaults, but the problem with defaults is everyone is using those same defaults. And when everyone is using those same defaults, your application doesn't stand out. If you have to make your application stand out, spend an hour or two in the initial phase of customizing it. With this example, it will be clear how easily you can customize it. Once you're able to customize it, you will be able to make your application stand out from the rest. It won't look like a ShadCN application, but you will know, you will get the benefits, and it will behave as if it is a ShadCN application, because you get all the defaults, you get all the accessibility criterias, you get all the good stuff which comes with ShadCN, you get updates, everything is responsive, everything works out of the box. It is just the defaults that you have changed, tweaked to your own liking. Go to ShadCN, ui.shadcn.com, go to the preset section, and there you'll be able to customize it, inherit some of the already created presets for you. Great feature shipped by ShadCN in the previous months, and I thank him for his work all the time. This was it for the video. We are also doing a giveaway wherein you can comment on the video, and you will be participating in a giveaway where we are giving away 5 to 10 t-shirts, and we are going to pick randomly 5 to 10 people out of the comment boxes who are going to get t-shirts. We're going to ship it, and you'll get it in a week or so. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do like this video, do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. तब तक के लिए भाई जय हिंद. बहुत काम करो, बहुत मेहनत करो. नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मिलता हूँ.